let me show you one or two things why or when to leave. You understand? Time to walk away, time to leave. When, like, you're in a relationship, you're in a ministry or anywhere you are, and you don't know when to leave or when to walk away. There are people like that. They stayed so long that they don't know when to walk away. So I will just run maybe 2 or 3 points, then we are out of here. I don't want to take much of your time. All right, when to walk away. Whether a relationship, you're in a ministry, or you have a friend and you don't know when to walk away. This is when to walk away. Number one, when a place of provision becomes a painful place. When a place of provision becomes a painful place. Do you understand what I'm saying? A place of provision becomes painful. That is a sign you should walk away. Leave that, whether it's a relationship, what you have to. Now pay attention. You know, the children of Israel, they were in Canaan. They were in Canaan, of course. And then there was Egypt. And so when there was famine in Canaan, all of them, you know, they left one after the other. They left Canaan to Egypt because of hunger, because of famine. But when they got to Egypt, they overstayed in Egypt. I believe you are listening. They left Canaan. Don't forget, this same Canaan would become a promised land in years to come. So they were in Canaan, and now they left Canaan to Egypt now because of famine, so that they could be fed, they could have provisions and enjoy themselves. But they overstayed in Egypt. They stayed in Egypt for years, 430 years or thereabout. They became slaves. So God gave them Egypt because of famine. But they overstayed in Egypt and they became slaves. Can I say something? That God gave it to you, something to you, does not mean you should overstay. Whatever God gave you was so that you could grow. But when you get so overstayed in Egypt, you become a slave. So Egypt was not a place of promise. It was a temporary place of provision, not a permanent place of provision, of promise. Can I say that again? I say Egypt was a temporary place of provision because God gave them Egypt because of famine, but they overstayed and became slaves. It was not a permanent place of promise. And so because they overstayed, it became a painful place. So when to walk away? When a place of provision has become a place of pain. Just seriously, just walk away. Walk away. And you know what happened? You know, they got there to Egypt because of Joseph. Joseph was well favored because of the king that was there, the Pharaoh that was there then. But now when Pharaoh died, Bible says there arose another Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph. So they became slaves because they were growing mightily. And they became slaves in Egypt. And you see, when God brought them out of Egypt, you know, they were still telling Moses then and said, were they not better grapes in Egypt? You should have allowed us to die in Egypt. Some of them would wish Joseph would come back. Don't try to bring Joseph back. Don't try. Because all of you were favored because of Joseph. So when Joseph died, a new king, Pharaoh, arose that didn't know him. And then you guys became slaves because you overstayed. So don't try to bring Joseph. Don't try to bring Joseph back. The good old days may have been that good, but there's always better days ahead. That person that left may have been so nice, may have been so wonderful. Let them go. So when a place of provision becomes a place of pain, you no longer enjoy provisions again. You no longer experience that providence again. It is time It is time to live. It is time. That's why they overstayed. And God told Moses and said, go and deliver them. They have overstayed. So whatever God brought to your life, whoever God brought to your life was for you to grow. So don't overstay. When the place has become abusive, when that place has become toxic, don't stay in such relationship, abusive places, toxic place. It was just a temporary place of provision, not a permanent place of promise. That's when to walk away. Number 2, when to walk away. When you are kicked out, you understand? When you are told that they don't want you again, you understand? Don't try to please people. Don't try to force yourself on them. That's what happened to Joseph. They kicked him out to the point that they sold him out, and he left. Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't force yourself on people that are telling you to your face that they don't want you. When you are kicked out and they say we don't want you. That's what happened to Jephthah. We don't want you. It is time. It is time to live. It is time to live. It is time. Don't try to buy people's attention. That's what I said the other time. All of us, we want attention. We want to crave for affection and dream of perfection. Nobody wants rejection as well. They kicked him out, but then it was God's protection. God was redirecting him to his destiny. So when you are kicked out, when they tell you to your face, don't try. You understand? Don't. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't put pressure on them. Don't put pressure on them. And number 3, when to walk away from people. When the brooks dried up, or is dried up, when the brooks, like you see, when the provision is no more, when you are no more faith and you are not filled, then just walk away. But the point is, before you walk away, make sure it is God telling you to walk away. Can I say that again? Make sure it is God telling you to walk away. Remember what happened to Elijah when there was famine in Samaria, in the old land, that God made provision for him at the brooks of Kerith. And then, it was the raven that was feeding him, coming with bread and all that. But when the brooks was drying, God told him and said, leave this place, for I've commanded a widow there, to take care of you. But you see, it has to be God. You can be in a ministry. I know it's your time to leave that ministry, but have you prayed? Because it has to be God telling you to leave. When the brooks, when the provision is dried up, it is time to leave. But you have to hear him. And most of us, at certain places we stay, and then immediately God tells you to. You understand? Make sure you hear him. And this goes to ministry. People in ministry, you're under someone. When the brooks is dried up, you are no longer fit. I know when you are no longer fit, you have to take care of yourself. You have to nurture yourself. You understand? Get your bread, buy your bread. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know God can take care of us. We can be fit, through his word as well. But sometimes God does this separation spiritually by getting rid of people, separating us from people as well. You understand? But it has to be him, because God commanded him and said, leave this place. I've commanded a widow out there to take care of you. That is a widow. God was, that was a training ground. You understand what I'm saying? Remember what happened to Naomi in Ruth 1, that because of famine, Naomi left Bethlehem. Because of famine, there was famine. She left there with her family, with her 2 sons and the husband. But in Ruth 1, 5 and 6, she buried, the husband died, the 2 sons also died. It's in your Bible. What happened? He left Bethlehem because of famine. And then he went to Moab so that they could survive. But she ended up burying everybody in a family, in a life, the husband and the 2 sons. Can I say something? It is better, or it is safe to have famine with God's people in Bethlehem than to have a family funeral in Moab, just because you were trying to solve a famine issue by leaving Bethlehem to where God did not send you. Can I say that again? I say it is better, it is safe to have famine with God's people than to have family funeral, because you were trying to solve issues, famine issues, by leaving Bethlehem to where God did not tell you. Some people have left their place of blessing. Some people have left their place of breakthrough because of famine. I know a day will come when the brooks will dry up, but then you have to wait and pay attention to that still voice, to that whispering. Say, go to where I have commanded thee. Don't leave until God has spoken. There are places you are not supposed to leave until you have heard God. Are you in a ministry, you want to leave that ministry? Are you in a church, you want to leave that church? Is there where you are and you want to live? Has God spoken? It has to be God. It's like just having a calling and somebody's telling you to go and start a church, go and start your ministry. If you don't have God's backing, you will fail, no matter how gifted you are. If you walk out of God's will to establish your place, and because of people's opinion and pressure, you will crash and they will walk away. So when the brooks is drying, you have to, you understand, you have to walk away. But it has to be God that is speaking. And I have a lot of them. And let me say the last one: when to walk away, when you no longer have a say. When you do no longer have a say, whether in a relationship or anywhere, just walk away. When what you say doesn't matter, it doesn't bring any change, no differences, just walk away. You would just pray and then just walk away. Most of us, we are in situations, relationships where the places where you don't have a say. If you want to express yourself, they will say, keep quiet. It has to be this one, it has to be this one, it has to be the boss, it has to be, all that. And you see, every now and then, the courage to be yourself will always put you in conflict with your environment. Can I say that again? The courage to be yourself will always put you in conflict with your environment. So if loving them means losing who you are, then just walk away. Do you understand? If loving them, you love them, but you can't say anything, you don't have any say. And they say the worst thing in life is to be at someone's mercy, the other person's mercy. When you don't have a say, just walk away. Because the courage to be who you are will always put you in conflict with your environment. Nobody wants that. Everybody wants to keep quiet, stay under them. That they want feeding you, that they want doing that. But when you no longer have a say, whatever you say doesn't matter at that point. Just walk away. Just walk away. God will redirect you to where you will not only be loved, you will be cherished, and you'll be grateful as well. When you no longer have, that carte blanche, that freedom to express yourself, just walk away. Don't bother. I know it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful. Rejection is not a fun. It affects you emotionally. But then you have to walk away to be yourself. God has something greater for you. When Samuel died, or when God left Saul, Samuel had to mourn over Saul. And God said, how long would you mourn over who have rejected. So that certain people you are working with God already had rejected them. You were not supposed to, but you didn't know. You were still mourning over them. You have to be sensitive. Life is too short to hang around the cemetery. Once they are gone, they're gone. There's only. So life is too short to hang around the cemetery. Let them go. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Don't try to please them. Just walk away. Most of us, we lost who we had to be. We were meant to be because of who we had to be. We lost who we were meant to be because of who we had to be. You are just, you're trying to fit in where you don't belong. You just want, in order to, I want to belong. I still want them to love me. I said, I don't want to leave them, When I leave them, how will I take care of myself? You start, all those things. Pity party. Do you understand what I'm saying? And when once rejection destroys your self-esteem, then you become their emotional hostage. Can I say that again? Whenever you allow rejection because someone rejected you, abandoned you, said that I don't want you again, and then you allow that to destroy your self-esteem, you become their emotional hostage. You'll be confined. And once you are confined by people, you understand? It means already you've been defined. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you're confined, it means you've been defined. And so, if they didn't create you, then they cannot define you. They are not your maker. Your maker is your mirror. So stop looking at yourself in the mirrors of your mistake or in the mirrors of those who rejected you, abandoned you. So when you don't have what to say, and even when you have what to say, but nobody's paying attention, just walk away. If what you say doesn't matter again, no longer matter again, just walk away. Life is too short to hang around the cemetery. I believe that you were blessed. So next time you see people are walking away, don't check these points, and a lot of them, God doesn't want you to depend on them solely. Total dependency on God is what matters. God is all you need. Every man needs God to be a man. And for every turn around, you need God to be around. Because God will always lead round, right, and not wrong. God bless you. I believe you're blessed. So don't just listen to this message. Watch, like it, share, comment as well, and then subscribe. My name is Evang Ekom Silas. God bless you.